Have you ever wondered if someone in your life is taking advantage of you? Do you ever feel like you're always giving more than you're getting, or that people around you only show up when they need something from you? If the answer is yes, you're not alone. I'm Morgan, and today we're going to explore 5 Stoic ways to tell if someone is taking advantage of you. Imagine you're in a situation where a friend you trust only contacts you when they need a loan, or a co-worker only approaches you when they need help with a project. How does it feel? Do you feel used, abandoned, and abandoned when they're no longer of use to you? Does it make you question the true value of the relationship? If you're wondering how to recognize these signs clearly and thoroughly, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 Stoic ways to tell if someone is using you. These ways will not only help you recognize the truth, but also help you live stronger and happier in your relationships. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. By applying these principles, you will not only learn how to recognize someone who is using you, but also how to protect yourself and live a freer life. At the end of the video, Morgan shares a great tip that will help you not only recognize them, but also deal wisely with them. Don't miss it. Before we dive in, Morgan has a small request. Please like, subscribe to join our awesome community, and leave a comment with the words, "I'm above it all." This mantra will help us strengthen our commitment to handle difficult situations with wisdom and strength. Your comments will help YouTube know that this message needs to be spread to more people. Are you ready to make a change? Now let's dive deeper into the specific signs. The first thing you should look out for is when someone always asks but rarely gives. Imagine you have a friend who always asks you for help with small or big things. But when you need them, they are always busy or unavailable. This is not only a sign of unfairness, but also a clear sign that you are being taken advantage of. Join me, Morgan, in exploring how to recognize people who always ask but rarely give, and how to handle this situation wisely and humanely. Number 1. They always ask but rarely give. In life, we often meet people who seem to only know how to ask but never give back. They always come to you when they need something, but when you need help, they magically disappear. This is a clear sign of taking advantage. Marcus Aurelius, one of the famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "The happiness of life depends on the quality of your thoughts." So how should we think about such people? Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. If someone always asks but rarely gives, that is something we can recognize and decide how to deal with. We cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond. Imagine you have a friend who always asks you for help, from small things like fixing a computer to big things like borrowing money. You are always willing to help, but when you need them, they are not there. This not only makes you feel tired, but also reduces the value of the relationship. According to Stoic philosophy, relationships need to have a balance between giving and receiving. A relationship that only receives without giving is an unsustainable and unfair relationship. In the Bible, Jesus taught, "Do to others as you would have them do to you." This is the golden rule in all relationships. If someone only asks for things but never reciprocates, they are violating this rule. This not only affects the person being taken advantage of, but also damages the soul of that person. Morgan believes that we need to reevaluate our relationships. We need to ask ourselves, is this relationship balanced and fair? Does this person truly respect and value me? If the answer is no, it is time to reevaluate that relationship. A typical example is the story of Thomas Edison, the great inventor. He always surrounded himself with friends and colleagues who were dedicated and helpful to each other. Edison believed that success came not only from individual efforts, but also from the support and cooperation of those around him. This is the secret that helps him create thousands of valuable inventions for humanity. Have you ever met someone in your life who only knows how to take but never gives? How did you react and how did you feel? Share your story in the comments below. Your experiences will not only help us understand this issue better, but also help our community become stronger. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on positive and inspiring lessons. Together, let's build a happier, fairer, and more meaningful life. Let's change life for the better. When we recognize that some people ask but rarely give, we take the first step in protecting ourselves from being taken advantage of. But what happens when their own interests always come first? It's not just that they don't give, it's that they only care about getting what they want. Imagine you have a co-worker who is always looking for ways to get ahead at any cost, even at the expense of your own interests. They're willing to take all the credit for themselves, regardless of how much you contribute. This not only makes you feel betrayed, but also affects your morale and productivity. According to Stoic philosophy, we need to clearly distinguish between those who truly care and those who are only looking for personal gain. Join Morgan in exploring how to recognize and deal with people who always put their own interests first. This will not only help you build genuine relationships, but also create a healthier living and working environment. Number 2. Personal gain always comes first. Imagine a businessman named John who built an empire from scratch. John was not afraid of hardship, but what made him successful was not only his hard work, but also his ability to put his own interests first in every situation. He always looked for ways to gain for himself, sometimes at the expense of others. This is not always a bad thing, but if it becomes a principle of life, it is a sign of someone who only knows how to take advantage. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Obstacles do not block the way, they are the way." However, when we encounter people who always put their own interests first, this is not only an obstacle, but also a sign that we need to reconsider that relationship. Think of a friend or colleague who only thinks about how to gain the most benefit for themselves, regardless of the consequences for others. They may always take credit, get promoted at your expense, or always ask for favors without ever returning the favor. Morgan believes that we need to identify people who always put their own interests first in order to protect ourselves and maintain balance in our relationships. We need to ask ourselves, does this person always put their own interests first? Are they willing to sacrifice the interests of others to achieve their own goals? If the answer is yes, then we need to reconsider that relationship. In Christianity, Jesus taught, "Love your neighbor as yourself." This means that we need to care about the interests of others as much as we care about our own interests. When someone always puts their own interests first, they are violating this principle. This not only creates injustice, but also hurts the relationships and communities around them. A typical example is the story of Elon Musk, who has achieved great success thanks to his creativity and vision. However, what makes Musk different is his ability to balance personal interests with the interests of the community. He not only thinks about his own interests, but also cares about the future of humanity. This is what makes success sustainable and meaningful. Have you ever met someone in your life who always put personal interests first? How did you react and how did you feel? Share your story. Your experiences will not only help us understand this issue better, but also make our community stronger. Once you realize that there are people who always put their own interests first, you will easily notice another common behavior. They only show up when they need something from you. This not only shows selfishness, but also shows a lack of sincerity in the relationship. Imagine a friend who only contacts you when they are in trouble or need help. But when you need them, they always disappear. This is a clear sign that you are only an option, not a priority in their eyes. In life, people who truly care will always be there for you in all situations, not just when they need something. Join me, Morgan, in exploring this sign further and learn how to deal with people who only show up when needed, to protect your self-worth and build more genuine relationships. Number 3. They only show up when they need something. Have you ever received a call from a friend you haven't seen in a while, and as soon as you pick up the phone, they start talking about their problems and what they need from you? It's a strange and uncomfortable feeling, isn't it? In Stoic philosophy, Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This not only emphasizes the importance of listening, but also refers to genuine presence in relationships. A true friend not only listens when they need something from you, but they are also there to share your joys and sorrows. Imagine you have a friend who only calls you when they're in trouble or need something. When they are okay, you don't hear from them at all. This is not only a sign of selfishness, but also shows a lack of sincerity and respect in the relationship. According to Stoic philosophy, true relationships are built on mutual support and loyalty, not on exploitation and personal calculation. Jesus taught in the Bible, "Love your neighbor as yourself." This means that we should treat others with the same care and respect that we expect in return. A relationship where someone is only there when they need something from you is an unbalanced relationship and does not follow this golden rule. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "People are made for each other, either to teach each other or to bear each other." This reminds us that in every relationship, mutual presence and support are the core elements. When someone is only there when they need something from you, they are not truly present in your life in a sincere and full way. In our daily lives, we often encounter such people. They can be colleagues, friends, or even family members. They only come to you when they are in trouble or need help. But when you need them, they always disappear. This not only makes you feel taken advantage of, but also reduces your trust in the value of that relationship. However, we should not let these experiences destroy our trust in people. Instead, we should learn to recognize and recalibrate our relationships. We should know when to withdraw and protect ourselves from exploitation while maintaining trust and hope in sincere and trustworthy relationships. Have you ever encountered a situation where someone only showed up when they needed something from you? How did they act, and how did you react? Share your story. Your experiences will not only help us understand this issue better, but also make our community stronger. People who only show up when they need something from you are showing a lack of sincerity in your relationship. But what happens when their words never match their actions? This not only breaks your trust, but it also hurts deeply. Imagine a friend who promises to be there for you, but when you need them most, they are absent. This is a clear sign of untrustworthiness. Words that don't match actions are one of the strongest signs that you are being taken advantage of. Join me, Morgan, in exploring how to recognize and deal with such people so you can protect yourself from hurt and build truly meaningful relationships. Number 4. Words don't match actions. Did you know that 70% of relationships fail because words don't match actions? That's a shocking statistic, right? Morgan here. And today we're going to explore another sign that someone is taking advantage of you, when their words don't match their actions. This not only breaks trust, but it also hurts deeply, leaving you feeling betrayed and alone. In Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't trust what a man says, look at what he does." Words may be easy to say, but actions are the truest measure of loyalty and sincerity. A person can make all kinds of promises, but if they never follow through, it's a clear sign of disrespect and untrustworthiness. Imagine you have a friend who always says they'll help you when you need them, but every time you call, they're busy or out of the loop. At first, you might sympathize and accept their apologies. But as this happens over and over again, you'll start to realize that their words are just empty promises. This is not only disappointing, but also a betrayal of the trust you have placed in them. Jesus taught in the Bible, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven." This reminds us that words without corresponding actions are meaningless. In any relationship, sincerity and concrete actions are what matter most. From a Stoic perspective, when we notice that our words do not match our actions, we need to calm down and reconsider that relationship. Epictetus once said, "A wise man judges others not only by their words, but also by their actions." If someone does not do what they promised, we should take it as a sign to adjust our relationship and protect ourselves from being hurt. In life, it is not uncommon to meet people who promise many things, but never follow through. It is important to realize that a relationship that is not based on trust and genuine action cannot last and bring true happiness. Have you ever been in a situation where someone promised a lot but never delivered? How did they act, and how did you feel? Share your story in the comments below. Your experiences will not only help us understand this issue better, but will also help our community become stronger. When we realize that our words don't match our actions, we are one step closer to understanding the true nature of our relationships. But the biggest consequence of this is feeling drained and used. Have you ever felt drained and used after helping someone without receiving any gratitude or support in return? This is the final and perhaps most obvious sign that you are being used. When empty promises and unreliable actions accumulate, we begin to feel lost and depleted. Join Morgan in exploring this feeling and how we can recognize, confront, and overcome it to protect our mental health and build more authentic, healthy relationships. Number 5. You feel drained and used. Have you ever felt drained and used after helping someone without receiving anything in return? Let Morgan tell you the story of Sarah, a good friend of mine, to illustrate what it feels like to be tired and taken advantage of. Sarah is a wonderful woman with a kind heart. She is always willing to help people around her without asking for anything in return. One day, Sarah meets Emma, a new colleague at work. Emma seems very friendly and likable, always looking for Sarah when she has problems. At first, Sarah is happy to help Emma. She spends time outside of work to support Emma in completing her work, even helping Emma fix her personal problems. But gradually, Sarah begins to notice a pattern. Emma only shows up when she needs help and disappears when everything is fine. One time, Emma asked Sarah to help her prepare for an important presentation. Sarah stayed up late many nights to help Emma complete this work. When the presentation was successful, Emma received many compliments and a promotion at work. But strangely, Emma never mentioned Sarah's help, not even thanking her. As time passed, Sarah felt more and more tired. Every time Emma needed help, Sarah felt pressured and exhausted. She realized that she was being taken advantage of, that her help was not properly appreciated. Sarah felt like her heart was being drained, no longer had the energy to continue. One day, Sarah decided to meet Emma to talk frankly. She shared her feelings that she felt tired and taken advantage of. But instead of understanding, Emma ignored her and even blamed Sarah for not being willing to help like before. That was the last straw, and Sarah decided to keep her distance from Emma from then on. After leaving that relationship, Sarah gradually felt relieved. She realized that she had let the exploitation hurt her soul and health for too long. Sarah began to find balance in her life, making time for more meaningful and authentic relationships. Sarah's story is a clear example of feeling tired and used. It reminds us that in every relationship, there must be a balance between give and take. If you feel like you are being used, don't be afraid to speak up and stand up for yourself. You deserve relationships that bring joy and balance, not exhaustion and hurt. Have you ever been in a similar situation to Sarah? Have you ever felt drained of energy after helping someone without getting anything in return, as if all your efforts and affection simply disappeared into thin air? We will explore the final feeling and the most obvious sign that you are being taken advantage of. Feeling exhausted and used. This is a very disturbing state of mind, and if not recognized in time, it can cause deep damage to your mind and body. In Stoic philosophy, Seneca once said, "Strength lies not in enduring much, but in letting nothing hurt you." When you feel exhausted and used, it is time to stop and ask yourself, are these relationships really worth it? People who only take and never give are draining your spirit. And this is not only unfair, but also disrespectful to yourself. Imagine you are a source of pure water. always ready to provide life and energy to everyone around you. But if only people come to take water and no one refills it, you will eventually dry up. Feeling tired and used is not only a result of being taken advantage of, but also a sign that you need to change your approach to relationships. In the Bible, Jesus teaches, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This reminds us that we do not have to suffer alone. When we feel tired and used, we have the right to seek support and rest. Remember, a healthy relationship should be balanced and mutually supportive. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." When you feel drained and used, it's time to reevaluate your relationships and change your mindset. You deserve relationships that bring you joy and balance, not exhaustion and hurt. In modern life, we often get caught up in unhealthy relationships without realizing it. It could be friends who only show up when they need something, or colleagues who only come to you when they need help. These relationships not only leave you feeling drained, but also diminish your own worth. Have you ever felt drained after helping someone? Share your story in the comments below. Your experiences will not only help us better understand this issue, but also make our community stronger. Together, we will build a happier, fairer, and more meaningful life. Let's change our lives for the better. Thank you for taking the time to listen and join me on this journey of discovering the 5 Stoic signs to recognize when someone is using you. Morgan is truly grateful for your support and sharing. Each story, each experience you share is a source of inspiration and strength for us to learn and grow together. We have gone through important signs together, from recognizing someone who always asks but rarely gives, to discovering when their own self-interest always comes first. We have discussed people who only show up when they need something and promises that are never kept. Finally, we have talked about feeling tired and used, a feeling that no one deserves to feel. Morgan hopes that what we discussed today will help you better identify unhealthy relationships, so that you can protect yourself and build more sincere and meaningful relationships. Remember, you deserve relationships that bring joy and balance, not fatigue and hurt. Thank you for always trusting and following the lessons that I, Morgan, share. Don't forget to leave comments, share your stories, and click like and subscribe to not miss out on positive and inspirational lessons from me. Let's build a happier, fairer, and more meaningful life together. Let's change life for the better together.